Joining me today. My name is Sylvia Black, and I'm the owner of Affordable Homes and Apartments, and property management firm. And today I'd like to talk to you a little bit about buying a home with your Section 8 Homeownership Voucher. Okay, now this is a book that I have written. I have Region 1, 2, and 3 available. If you go to my website at Housing and Emergency Services for Low-Income People, you'll find the what regions those are. Regions 1, 2, and 3 are complete. And also on Amazon, there's a generic book that just has the general information. It's a lot smaller. Okay, and the books that are by region have names and phone numbers in it, websites, people's contact information, their titles of in that state, in that region, I should say, that you can contact, that you can find out what you need to know about home ownership and how you can get started with qualifying. Also to my YouTube channel at sblack3001 or Affordable Homes and Apartments, and you can view some YouTube videos on home ownership, mortgages, and what have you. Okay. Now this book basically talks about home ownership. If you currently are on Section 8 and you've been on it for a year at least, okay, you may be a candidate for a Section 8 home ownership voucher. Now that means that you're currently receiving a housing choice voucher currently. Okay, and that the housing choice voucher would be paying your rent. Okay, usually generally 30% of whatever the rent is. So for example, if your rent is $1,000, you'll be paying $300 a month out of your pocket for the rent. Now it works similarly for mortgages. Okay, that you generally the across the board is again 30%. So if your mortgage is, let's say, if you get a house for $100,000, and I usually like to overemphasize or estimate, I usually estimate it at 10%. Okay, that way you have room to leverage to go up and down. A lot of people seem to forget about the escrow, which is the taxes and the insurance, which is included in that and does not state that in your closing statements. Okay, but it must be paid, and it will be paid. If you don't pay it, the mortgage company is going to pay it, and they will pay it at a higher rate. You will have to pay them back at a higher rate because the tax company could take the house away for non-payment of taxes, and the mortgage is much more valuable than that. So the mortgage company is going to say, hey, we got to pay the taxes so the tax people don't take the house. Okay, so they maintain position with that. Insurance, a lot of things could go wrong when you don't have insurance. That's to protect the investment. You have to have insurance, homeowner insurance on your property. Okay, now if you need help with meeting your homeownership expenses, homeownership and other expenses, there's a program that can help you, and it's called the Homeownership Voucher Program. Now this book is available on Amazon as well as Barnes & Nobles and my website at Housing and Emergency Services for Low-Income People, everything completely spelled out. You can always message me at my YouTube or my Facebook channel, and if you need information, or you can email me at sblack3001@gmail.com. Okay, you must get a copy of the book. Okay, the book tells you everything that you need to know. Okay, and when soon I'll be offering workshops right here online. Okay, live workshops that'll talk about that'll prepare you for this particular type of home ownership. Okay, now this is a generic book. It's a lot smaller. It just gives you the basic information about Section 8 home ownership voucher. Now there's a difference between a home ownership voucher and a housing choice voucher. Okay, those of you who are on Section 8 probably know. A housing choice voucher is what it pays your rent. A home ownership voucher pays your mortgage. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, you can get a mortgage with your home ownership voucher. See, it's not a program that's advertised, but I, as a real estate agent, a former real estate agent, and currently property manager and owner of Affordable Homes and Apartments, I am promoting this program because I believe it's a great program. And so what we do is, like, when I have a house, we get a house ready. I let you rent my house for 12 months while we prepare you for home ownership. Okay, I take all the information that I need when you first come to me, and I qualify you. I get a lot of information as you need when you're doing a mortgage, okay? But I get a lot of information from you, so it tells me, and then I find out, do you want to own a home? Because a lot of people don't want to own homes. They don't want the responsibility. But you don't realize that with responsibility comes also luxury and expenses. Whenever you need money, you can access cash because you own a home. You know, um, you can, there's always different ways of accessing cash. I'm a creative individual. If I have a two-family house, I always can rent out the second unit. I'll either rent it out as an apartment or I'll rent out the rooms and I'll bring in some money. I'll make sure I have me some money coming in. Okay. You can get a mortgage, a home equity line. I talk about mortgages on my YouTube channel. That's Black 3001. That's an in-depth program. You're not going to get through that right away. I have some other books that I was given by various agencies, okay, that actually walk you step by step through the qualifying process. Okay, now what I do is, see, we charge for our we keep the cost down to a minimum. For now, maybe we'll be able to offer them for free or at a very minimal cost. Okay, the books you have to pay for. We're not offering those for free, not yet, anyway. Okay, but the programs that I list in the book are mostly free. Okay, they are sponsored by the government, approved by the government. Okay, to offer you the services that they offer. So they are getting funded by the government. Okay, currently, affordable homes and apartments is not being funded by the government. Okay, but that doesn't mean that housing and emergency services for low-income people will not be. Okay, home ownership is an excellent thing to have. It's a great feeling when you own your own home. You walk in your own home and you know it's yours. You don't have to worry about no landlord. And the best part about it for me is on the first of the month, I ain't got to worry about paying the landlord. Okay, because your mortgage could be due at any day of the month. It doesn't have to be due on the first of the month, you know. And the difference between one of the great advantages of, not saying great advantages, but it helps homeowners not get put out on the street, and I teach you about foreclosure too. I prepare you for foreclosure, to, foreclosure prevention, so that you can, because you'd be like, hey, I'm just buying a house for the first time. Why do I need to know about, foreclosure prevention? Because you're going to run into problems, baby. It's called life. You're going to run into problems. Old Murphy's going to come knocking on your door, you know what I'm saying? And you're going to have problems because you might get so happy that you end up spending so much money. And then you're living paycheck to paycheck. And then you wonder, where's the money going to come from? And then you got to eat, right? So you're going to spend your money on food. You got to pay the gas and light bill. So you're going to do that. And then the mortgage gets neglected. Well, one of the advantages that didn't used to be the case back in the day, and that's why certain government programs were actually initiated, is that when you're a tenant, okay, despite the pandemic, because there's the eviction rule, I believe it lasted up until June. It may have been extended, that the tenants cannot get put out until June for not paying the rent. However, under ordinary circumstances, when you're behind in your rent, the landlord can take you to court immediately, and you have somewhere between maybe 30 and 60 days to get out. Okay? If you're lucky, you can fight it. If you have the money, you can stay, unless the landlord just wants you out. Okay? But however, with a mortgage, it takes about approximately, and don't quote me on it, 12 months before the foreclosure proceeding goes into effect. And before you actually, the police will actually be knocking on your door and hauling you up out of there. Because I've seen it happen with a guy, and I found him a little too late. He had already gone way beyond. He was holding up in that house real good, way after the 12 months and everything. And it was in a nice neighborhood. And if I had found him early, contacted him early, I would have been able to help him save it, or at least buy some time until he found somewhere. Police was at his door, baby. Okay, the sheriff, the landlord, everybody possible, and they had the correct paperwork. And he had to go right then and there. He had to leave immediately because he had already overstayed his welcome, as they say. He was way past the 12 months, and he was trying to hold out. But see, there are programs available. There is help available, even as a tenant. Okay, and I'm an advocate for that. When you're behind in your rent, don't just sit back and think that it's just going to disappear, because it's not going to disappear. You have to take action. And I say, call us Affordable Homes at 716-602-7213. Not right now, but call us. Text me if you want to text me, will be the better way to contact me. Um, uh, um, uh, Email me at sblack3001. Actually, you email me on my real estate website, email at affordablehomesandapartments@gmail.com. Everything's spelled out. That's affordablehomesandapartments@gmail.com. Everything's spelled out. Now, you email me there, or you can text me at 716-602-7213. I may not answer the phone right away, but I will get the text message and I will get the email. Okay? And then I'll be able to respond back to you. You might catch me. Okay? If you call and you don't reach me, leave a message. If you don't leave a message, then I don't know that you called. Okay? But my name is Sylvia Black, and I'm the owner of Affordable Homes and Apartments and Housing and Emergency Services for Low-Income People. And I'll tell you a little bit more about the organizations later. But right now, we're talking about purchasing a home with your Section 8 Homeownership Voucher. Okay, now let me just put this disclaimer in here now. It is a process. Okay, it's not going to take forever. But that's why when I have a house and I rent you my house, I rent it to you on the basis within the next 12 months, you're going to be the owner of that home. If you like it well enough to rent it, then you should like it well enough to own it. And you see, a lot of people, they don't want the responsibility because they're by themselves. Nobody's going to help you. No, well, I don't say nobody's going to help you. You don't know who's available to help you, and you don't know who to turn to. And some people are ashamed to ask for help. You don't know that there's help available, but there is, even for a tenant, even for a working tenant. If you're working, okay, and you're getting Section 8 and you're behind in your rent, you can get help. Okay, you can get help. Government agencies, state agencies, city, state, and local county agencies are available to help. I found this out because I'm not the kind of person that want to go out and help get no help from nobody. I like to work for my own. I had to actually apply for welfare. But in applying for welfare, they helped me with a refrigerator and a stove. And they helped me with moving expenses. So it ain't nothing to be ashamed of, baby. Sometimes you need help. Okay, and you will need to know who that or what that help is. Okay, when you own a home, especially when you own a home. The last thing you want to do is get ousted out of your home. It's one thing to get evicted out of your apartment, but it's another thing to get ousted out of your home. There is so much to talk about with this, but what I would like for you to do right now, I want you to go to my website. Okay, I want you to go to Amazon.com. If you want the exact link, text me at 716-602-7213, and I will text you the link. You can get an ebook instant download, or you can get it in print where you'll have to wait for it. If you want some information, let me tell you, this information is valuable. I've gotten feedback. I've gotten some people who have talked, who have given me reviews. And I thank God they have given me excellent reviews. The information is so informative. I didn't realize how informative it really is. And a lot of people more downstate than upstate than West New York support the program. So what you would have to do as a Section 8 tenant, you would have to find out who, we can do it, find out who actually supports the program. You may be living in okay, I don't want to talk about that, but the details, okay, are, pretty much buy yourself a home. Get yourself in a home in the next 12 months. By 2022, I would hope that you would be in your own home. It's a process. You're going to be asked a lot of questions. You're going to be, but you are the buyer. And you have to remember that all the people that you will be coming in contact with, they're working for you. Okay, you're the boss in this situation. Don't get haughty with it. Just know that you're in control. You have the power and the authority to control the situation, which means you ask questions before you sign your name on the dotted line. You ask questions before you give your social security number, because if they run your credit too often, your credit will plummet like a hot potato. If you're working towards building your credit up, it's building it up. One thing I do suggest is that you subscribe to one of the credit bureaus, and you pay that monthly fee, because then you can monitor your credit. And when you see what your credit score is, it will encourage you and say, wow, I didn't know my credit score was that high. I'm on my way to be rebuilding my credit, and I talk about that. I have a financial management class that specifically talks about budget, debt, and credit. Okay, we do a lot of training, a lot of stuff. But this is a book that I would like for you to get started on it. Go listen to the tapes. That would help you also. Okay, if you're interested, it'll get your juices wet. Get you in the mood, get you started. Okay, and then you will be on your way. You think about it. Do I want to own a home? First, you have to come to the realization whether you want to own a home or not. Because I'm not going to try to force it on anybody. If you don't want to own a home, then this program is not for you. Okay, but if you want to own a home, then yes, you get a copy of this book here, Buy a Home with your Section 8 Homeownership Voucher. Okay, now this gives you the general information, but the book's by regions. There's 10 regions altogether, so I have 7 more regions to do. Okay, and I've done my research, and it'll probably be not too long before they're done. Okay, but I had to do New York and New Jersey first. That's region 2. Okay, so if you get a book and you're in New York and New Jersey, get region 2, and that'll give you the names and addresses. Even if you're in another state outside of what the books cover, the regions that the books cover, you can still get a copy of the book because the book will give you names and addresses. And I would say 80% out of 100. If there's an organization in New York named that can help you, there's an organization in your state that's outside of region 1, 2, and 3 under the same name that can help you. Oh, there's so many programs that's out there. There are subsidy grants that are given that help you. Um, um, the subsidy grants actually reduce the cost of the mortgage, so that will reduce your monthly payment. Okay, there's down payment and closing cost assistance available to you. Okay, because sometimes you can put a deposit down of maybe $500. I don't know. I'm not a mortgage company person. Okay, but there used to be mortgages where all you had to do was put $500 down, and I was working for a mortgage company at the time, honey. So I was bringing in the money. I was like, "Yeah, baby, come on, let's." But then banks decided that they didn't want to do it. A lot of banks backed out because it was risky, and a lot of in the foreclosing. So I always give workshops. I give workshops, and I'm going to be doing a bunch of workshops here. Webinar. Of course, they're going to be paid. So you're going to have to pay in order to see the webinar. Some will be free, some will be paid. Okay, but the book, you have to buy it in order to get it. It's an interesting book. It'll be the best investment that you've ever made in your life. Okay. You may consider relocating somewhere else. I wanted to own, when I first bought me a house, my first house, I wanted to own a home so bad that I was willing to relocate to get it. Wherever I could afford to buy me a house for cash, that's where I went. Certain areas I wasn't going to go in. I stayed in New York though, and where I was able to buy me a house in the state of New York. I stayed in New York, but I had to move. I had to relocate, to a place that I didn't know anything about. I knew because I researched it, and then when I got there, I was glad that I did because I was successful in real estate. But then the market got slow, and then people got sort of desperate, clinching onto the money. And, even with a signed contract, I found that later on, I would still have to take people to court. So, I went into property management, which is much better. I always knew property management was for me. Okay. I started out as a 7-day administrator in New York City and went into real estate brokerage. And now I'm in property management. Okay. And I love property management because I love relating to the tenants. I love being able to help the tenants, inform the tenants of what I've learned over the years through experience. I've actually went through a lot of these programs that I'm talking to you about. So it's not like I'm just telling you because I've researched it. I've actually experienced the programs because they helped me, and it ain't nothing to be ashamed of when you got to go out there and get help. I remember one time I was in the welfare and I saw my aunt in the welfare. I wasn't embarrassed, but she was already on welfare, and I didn't think twice about the fact that, you on the welfare office, so what, you have to get help. If you need help, you need help. Okay. But that's what the help is there for. And that's what I'm here for. My organization, is expanding, and we will be branching out and letting you know what's available to you and how you can take advantage of it. We're going to be doing workshops. We're going to be doing right online, right here. You'll find out how to do it, and I will let you know and inform you You can actually go to my YouTube channel, that's Black3001, and Affordable Homes and Apartments at gmail.com. I mean, Affordable Homes and Apartments is the my real estate YouTube channel. Okay, my religious channel is Black3001, and everything else, is it's the me channel. But I have a religious channel and I have a real estate channel. Okay, so I want to encourage you, please, my sisters and my brothers, get a copy of Buy a Home with the Section 8 Homeownership Voucher. Go to Barnes& and Nobles, go to Amazon. You can go to my website at Housing and Emergency Services for Low-Income People, and you can get a copy of the book at either one of those websites. I believe you can also go to Lulu. Lulu is also a website, but if you want the exact website, what you do is when you go to the website, when you go to Amazon, you type my name in, Sylvia Black, and or both, you can type the name of the book. The name of the book is Affordable Home. What happened?